Guess what, everyone? It's time for a brand new commentary, and this is actually in a series, and I'm going to do them out of order, but I really wanted to do this one just because this is probably the least one of the series that I've paid attention to. And if I had to compare them, it is funny and it's great that they could pull it off, but I mean, it just felt like probably the third one. I don't know. I don't want to say anything negative about it. It's just they had ideas. Like, I mean, Beyonce's character being Foxy Cleopatra and going to the 70s and incorporating Fat Bastard. I mean, they really had some good ideas in it. It just felt like the jokes were just recycled. And that was like the main thing. But I really don't think other than that there was any problem with it. I mean, this is a funny movie and you'll definitely enjoy it. And this is Austin Powers and Goldmember. Originally came out in 2002, and isn't that strange that was 12 years ago? I mean, here's Beyonce, 32 years old. She was only 20 when she filmed this, maybe 19. But Austin Powers is definitely on fire, and I think The Spy Who Shagged Me, I'm pretty sure that one was pretty, that one was on fire enough to last like 2 additional years, and they said, well, screw it, we're going to make one again. But I don't know what's become of the series. But anyhow, I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, and there's going to be an invisible 0. So in the blank where I would say 0 after I say 1, you press play movie to follow along with my commentary. I bought this movie right when it came out in like October 2002, so I have like the first edition of this movie. So I don't have subtitles, and if there's like added scenes, if there's like an unrated, I don't know about it. So I do not have like the extra special edition of this movie. I have the 2000. This movie is 12 years old. I've owned it for 12 years now. So let's keep that in mind. But alright, 3, 2, 1. Now, I was kind of hoping that there would be subtitles, but there really isn't. And this movie just takes off immediately like it would in any of the other ones. And like I was saying, like the jokes are put together. I mean, Dr. Evil in particular, I mean, the spotlight's on him. It's always been like that, though. I mean, really, like Austin Powers, he says like the catchy lines, and then Dr. Evil kind of like it, like like if it's point A, point B, Austin Powers point A, Austin Powers point B. Dr. Evil is kind of like the thing that gets you from point A to point B. So that's what it is, and I thought, well, yeah, it's funny in that sense. And like I looked this up, and it really is just a take on James Bond, and it's in addition to that, it's also a take on like a few other things, but mostly superhero, like not superhero, but British macho men from the 60s and 70s. And they said that Mike Myers came up with Austin Powers like in the mid 90s, and he said that he wanted to do something, and the only thing that he knew immediately was that he wanted the main character to say, "Do I make you horny?" And he just kind of created something out of that. But alright, so I know what you're thinking, like, what the hell's going on? This is a lot more action packed than Austin Powers is with. And that's kind of the point. Like, it's like, well, what if Austin Powers recognized his own worth? That's kind of what we're looking at. Like, let's just cut all the slack and pull out all the stops. We're gonna give him AK-47s. We're gonna do like the whole thing. Tom Cruise is Austin Powers. Like, you're thinking, well, what the hell is going on here? It works. Now, what do you call your motorcycle? The peanut, like, peanuts. Peanuts pump. You know. Kevin Spacey as Dr. Evil. Danny DeVito. Like, those were really good. Kevin Spacey actually would fit the role of Dr. Evil. It's funny when Austin Powers laughs. He's always got like that laugh that's like, he laughs like it's like he's really like he's really enjoying himself when he laughs. Like, you could tell like when someone really enjoys like a laugh. That's kind of what it is. Like when he was with a lot of vagina, and she says like in Japan women come first, and then men come first and women come second, and then he says and sometimes not at all. And then I think that's what happens, he starts laughing, and it's just like he really enjoyed that little bit. But I really like it's just the way they do it. Like Austin Powers says, hey, this music can be showcased anywhere. Like, I'm surprised we didn't do like the rock star version. Just like you just got to get your head banging, and your hair swishing everywhere, and then another one where you're like, where you're skateboarding down a hill. Like, you could totally do it. It would just be interesting, wouldn't it? Austin Powers was like, hey, I'm accessible. Like, I am a marketable man. From 35-year-old men to 6-year-old boys who like the Incredible Hulk. Like, people like Austin Powers. And it's all because of my velour suit. Like, Austin Powers has some good ones. I mean, like at the end of the movie, he wears like a maroon one, and that's like the best one. But look at Britney Spears. Like, really. I think the same person that designed Christina Aguilera's wardrobes did Britney Spears, and she knew it. She was just like, hey, I know. Like, I like flamingo feathers on my chest. I just, that's what I want. But what birds? I mean, what birds had to die for her outfit? Don't even get me started with Christina Aguilera. Like, I mean, really. Christina Aguilera will get like a bra made out of mud. Like she'll go. She's of the earth. I'm surprised they don't call her a hippie. But Austin Powers really does it, and like immediately it starts off with Doctor Evil, and you have to say, well. Like just the way that these guys always talk. I mean, you gotta like number two is kind of like, what the hell are you talking about? Because I don't know, he talks about something, and I know Doctor Evil is thinking, wow, number two, I really don't care, like, but he keeps him around because he knows that he's useful. Like number two probably says like, hey, we need to we need to like put a game, like we need to put um a massage parlor in a pizza store, and he's like, and then number two's like, silence number two, we're going to rob the pizza store. I mean, it's just, you might say that, you could say he's like the straight man, but who knows. Goldmember is kind of like in it immediately, and like, I mean, just the whole concept of mini me though, like, what the hell is going on? You understand that you walk around with a midget that is dressed just like you. I mean, like, why don't you close the garage, mini me? Like, I'm gonna back the car out of the garage. Why don't you close the garage? Okay. um, why don't you turn on the shower, mini me? Like, just he couldn't do it. Like, but I don't want to hate because like that's just this having him follow you everywhere. I mean, just imagine all the places where they would go. He just wanted him to have some chocolate. He calls it Preparation H. Um, yeah. Um, definitely. Heather Graham probably needs Preparation H. I mean, like I know, just a long day of sitting. It just I understand. Like really, you have to walk in heels. You have to sit in your car. You have to drive to all your places. Like, just imagine how much preparation H you would need. Pillows don't do it. Believe me, I've tried. The only thing a pillow does is make a dent where your butt goes. So it's just preparation H. Believe it. But Frau is actually attractive. I'm not gonna lie. Like you think, well, Frau, like, wow, but she go. Doctor Evil goes to jail and she wears like this push bra and it's just like, holy shit. Could Frau be hot? It works. But many we just like, oh, I've got something for you. Like, been holding that in all day. I've always wanted to do that. Like, we're gonna make your dreams come true, mini me. Austin Powers got. Oh god, like Americans do not do this. That's just it's an ode to culture that you definitely got to say like, what were you expecting? Um, that guy looked like he was really enjoying it too. Like Austin Powers is just like, yeah. Like Austin Powers, just the way he sings about it, like really. You know what I wanted to do with my dad? I wanted to I wanted to throw rocks into the Grand Canyon with my dad. Just like I wanted us to have like a mother-daughter combo. I wanted to have sex with a woman and you sleep with her mother type thing. Like, it would be good, wouldn't it? Like I most definitely wanted to go fishing with you, like Austin Powers fishing. Yeah, I call it like fook me. Now, who? Which one? Which one bites the hardest? You know what I mean? Need to know. It's the only thing I can think of. Which one of you? Which one do you like? Just understand like what goes on. I mean, Asian twins showing up. Yeah. I think Fook Yu probably has the sharper teeth. Probably bites harder. So we'll have to get like a special pillow for her. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I've also got like um can't think of anything you would bite to get open. Goldmember's trademark is painting guys' dicks gold. Like, you think you haven't lived until you've stuck your dick in gold. That's all you have to do. I mean, really, stick your dick in gold. Like, he visits Austin Powers he visits Doctor Evil in jail. And you pay attention, this was kind of funny because they put him in like a maximum security prison. Like, they put Magneto in X-Men, and like the thing is, they just throw him in. They just throw Mini Me in jail. They're just like, fuck him, we're just gonna throw him in prison. And now, just the way that these two interact, they're brothers, and they like that's the thing. Um, it kind of makes things a little bit strange, doesn't it? Just to kind of say that, hey, we're not gonna do any more of these. Like, they probably could have made like at least 2 or 3 more of these Austin Powers movies, but I think they just wanted to not make a bad one, so they kind of said, screw it, we're just gonna do this. And hmm, where did you get that hat? I mean, that's the only thing you gotta say is this. Oh, I got it from. Did you get it from? Did you get it from a woman named Olivia? Like, the gift shop right next to yeah, the Eiffel Tower. But it's funny just the way he said "ow." And now this young Doctor Evil does like a incredible job with him. Just the way he looks. Throw me a frickin' bone here. I'm just trying to cross the street without so much as a cricket walking on my shoes. Is that too much to ask for? Like, I know what you're thinking. Like, where the hell does that come from? I'm just saying that Doctor Evil kind of asks for like absurd things, and he always has. Like sharks with lasers, like they get those in this movie, and you gotta say, well, We need grizzly bears with buzz saws attached to them so they can saute their food. I mean, how efficient do you think bears would be if they could skin the fish while they ate it? Didn't have to just eat it whole. I really can't think of anything to say about, like, that's really hard, just the fact that he paints dicks gold. Um like if there was like an inverse to that, and there was like, instead of Goldmember, like, um I couldn't even think of like a female version of that. What would it be? I think like this definitely came from James Bond Goldfinger. It did, and but they go back to the 70s, and it's kind of like, well, like what the hell? Austin Power, like swinging, it became something different in the 70s. So like it's just like, 70s, 60s, not that different. Same thing. You were in your 20s in the 60s, you're in your 30s in the 70s. So like pretty much you do whatever you need. But so it's just like a tale of people that had whatever they wanted to do, and like Beyonce is here, Miss Destiny's Child, in her debut movie, and of course, she's like, well, as long as I'm here, I'm gonna do what I do, cause I'm used to singing in a trio. I want people to know, like, hey, this act is just like being in a music video. You know where I learned these moves? My choreographer. You know where I got my choreographer? On the back of a Cheerios box. Like, I just said, um, yeah, like really. But Beyonce, why are you dancing like it's 1999? You know what I mean? Like Beyonce is like, I mean, did you have any historical study of the 70s? You know what I mean? Foxy Cleopatra. Oh God. Austin Powers looks like Dolomite. You know what I mean? Um, don't ask me if I'll ever do that movie. If it was made like in 1995 and not 1975, I'd probably do it. It's just really strange doing movies that are like 15 years older than me. But of course, and skating was really popular in the 70s. So Goldmember is just really. I mean, I was kind of thinking he'd be like a walking. I was kind of thinking he'd be like a walking 70s cliche, but not necessarily. Nathan Lane shows up, and main thing is that you should see the way I get my nails done. Now, like, is this like, yeah, I mean, seriously, I get my nails done with this guy. Like, really, like, so how do you do? Has you have to have two people just to do it. Now here is Nigel Powers, Michael Kane, and I know you're thinking like, what's going on here? I mean, Michael Caine has been in movies for at least a few decades. I don't know. I mean, I kind of looked him up on Wikipedia, but I think it was like last year or a couple years ago, and um, but you gotta say, is he like a British? I mean, ask him what he listened to. Was it, what did you listen to in British in 1965? And he'd probably say, I hate when I get something in my throat. But the beat, like, I'm not even gonna say it, like, that's too cliche. Just thinking about the 60s and how much Britain was overwhelmed by music. Yeah, I'm pretty sure like he'd say, "Oh, there were tons. I had this and this and this and this." We had our own take of the Beatles, and it was called like the butterflies, the the bees knees. We called them the bees knees, and they of course sang about, well, what they did. And Smelter. Now, Fat Bastard is in this movie, and I looked it up, and they said it took Mike Myers like 6 hours to. I don't know. It was either 6 or 18. There's no way he could be awake for 18 hours, but they said it took like 6 hours for them to get his outfit ready for Fat Bastard. I don't know about a bong and a plate. I mean, I think those were all gay euphemisms. That's a word. Now, if you think about someone that just became like lifetime, like abnormally obsessed with gold, what would you want? Like, what would you do with that sort of thing? You could say, well, yeah, I like gold, but I really Like, I mean, I want gold curtains. I want gold spoons. I want gold milk. I want, like really. I think, like when I make my breakfast, like forget what those things are called. They're for breakfast. They're not waffles. They're not pancakes, but they're something. I don't remember what they are, but I think you use milk for them. But look at these women. Like, hey, you don't know? We're assassins that look like masseuses. It's popular in the 70s. You might think of that. Like, we can kick a full 180 degrees, sometimes 200 degrees, a little bit past our ears, and we can backflip into a split. We can backflip into a split. So it's just like, hey, you could need us if ever you were walking into a gas station and you didn't want to pay the money. You just say, hey, I'm putting $80 in my car and I'm not paying. I think my gold ladies here will kind of make sure about it. Look at Frau. I mean, really, she brought Taco Bell and everything. But she's actually in her 60s though. But what would you say about Frau though? Like, really, you're like your ethnicity. I think I don't want to be like overbearing, but was your father a carpenter and your mother was like a um was a motel maid? I mean, that's all we have to know. Is just, did you work and did you hate cleaning those hotels? I mean, you must have. But they do like a video on. They do a video on Jay-Z's. I think this was Beyonce's idea. Oh, hey, why don't you do My Boyfriend? Jay-Z's got a song for In Jail. It's called The Hard Knock Life. Like, okay, Beyonce, like, and why don't we just break out like the picnic baskets and um you could just break out the picnic baskets and have like an AK while we're watching for unsuspecting like um unsuspecting dogs and men walking around the park where we're at. Like it's just the like Jay-Z. I mean, that was like one of the strangest songs that Jay-Z ever did. Was just like, I'm gonna take Annie and make it into a gangster song. Like, I said gangster just because like I'm gonna like I specifically was being sarcastic when I did that. Like, why did you do that? I mean, that was one of Jay-Z's highest charting songs at the time, but just the fact that he did it was, I mean, But Jay-Z is like a above par lyricist. I mean, just the shit that he says, like can he's a lyricist. And I know, like, I missed like the whole point of Doctor Evil doing that, but like really, it was just like really. I mean, yeah. So this is my chance to all. I mean, Scott always talks about wanting to kick it with his dogs. So I said, I'll I'll have a story to tell Scott about all the fun times I had up in the pen. Beyonce, like, really, I mean, she can do it. I mean, she's been like in a couple other movies, but um, like Austin Powers just cannot resist. I mean, that's just I know what he wants to do. He wants to like probably I don't know, like wants to can't really think of anything for that. It's just a little bit. Doctor Evil gets a base underwater, and the thing that happens is he's basically thinking, well, we're going to have a comet hit the world and we're going to flood it. What I don't get is what he wants to do in the meantime. It just don't try to take this plot seriously because yeah, I mean, like you think, well, what could we do with Goldmember? Really, it's not terribly much I can think of that. I don't know. You can, but I wonder if they actually filmed this underwater. Like that's just because if they made that, they very well could have. It just like I wonder how much money that would have take to build like a submarine shaped like Doctor Evil. I mean, the movie made, I think, more than $50 million at the box office, so pretty sure they had all the required salary to do what they needed. But it's just interesting. I mean, I know you're saying, well, isn't the blue like a indication? But you never know. I mean, could have just been paint. You know what I'm saying? You don't see any bubbles, but like really, I mean, yeah, it's a little bit. Like really, I mean, what would you think about this sort of thing anyhow? I mean, really, um, we're like it plainly makes the fact we're just gonna bring him in not handcuffed because resistance. We've got hired hands that have been hit by cars and jumped off of 20 feet buildings, and they get up after like 5 months. They can walk again, but we just you'll be alright. It'll be alright. It's just I think like they make like an explicit stunt of just people being incompetent, but it's not really incompetent, but it's just completely unsuspecting. Um, this is the beginning of something that's kind of different. Like they separate Mini Me from Doctor Evil, and I found that kind of strange, but they do it, and Mini Me becomes a good guy, and I mean, it had to happen though because that was like the only. I mean, Doctor Evil apparently had like the best plan. I mean, they really couldn't stop this one. Like, oh my god, we can't just hire someone to beat Goldmember's. I mean, the way that they go about it is they act like they're really like it's just like Austin Powers. Like the scene that they should have shown is just like Austin Powers like not being able to sleep in bed because he's like, ah, God. He has his hand on his head like he has like a severe headache or something. He's like, I can't believe it. Doctor Evil has it done this time. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I know that's really unsuspect of Austin Powers, but that the way they're reacting, you would think that like either he's aware of it, how ignorant this plan is, or he's not. But they don't really go into that much depth. What would you say about Beyonce? Like really, how did you find out about this role? Like really, I mean, what prompted you to do it? Like, someone listened to your demo or something. You said, well, hey, I'm gonna do like I'll do a song for this soundtrack. I'll call it "Getting Money" and being remorseful about the fact that you didn't make it sooner, and then also getting something and being remorseful about the fact that you didn't get it sooner. And then Austin Powers said, hey, I got an even better idea. Instead of that song, Beyonce, how about you be in the movie? And she said, well, um, I've done. I mean, Hype Williams is the only acting that I've ever done anything with. Oh, that's all you got to say about B. I think she wanted to get. I know what you're thinking. Like, really, what? Why are they fighting in a sumo wrestler locker room? It's just is the way it works. I mean, you just don't expect things to happen the way that they do, and Roboto. Now, used to really like Japan. I used to want to live there, but I do not know about that. I do not know who that is. I'm pretty sure like most people say, well, hey, yeah, I can't believe how would you not know about like it's just like I mean it's like someone saying like someone from Japan saying, well, um I don't know who Britney Spears is. You know what I mean? Like I mean, but Britney Spears isn't like a billionaire or whatever, but I don't know who Bill Gates is. But I mean, it's whatever. Just when you think about that, Some rich cat. I mean, what would you think Beyonce thought of like the jokes in this movie? Like, you know what? I thought you was gonna have like a good time. I just wanted to show off I could dance. As long as you give me like a dancing scene, I really don't have a problem. And I know I use that joke all the time, but um, she's probably thinking, well, what necessarily? What would you want to have in there, anyways? Think about it more in the terms of, well, what's the favor? Like now, Mike Myers owes Beyonce Knowles a favor. So Beyonce says, "Well, you know what? When I have to meet like when there's like some kid with leukemia or something like that, or like some some boy that's like really attracted to me, I can just send Mike Myers to do. Hey, I was in Goldmember. You know what I mean?" Yep, kind of does. Like, yeah, we got to keep these switches aligned because the slightest miscalculation will drop us like 5,000 feet and crush us to death. So, like, and the buttons unclick themselves, so I have to keep pressing all the green buttons. This is a good joke. Mini me is like, huh. Uh-huh. Like Mike Myers, like, okay, well, he's just like, yeah. What would he think? What does he think of this whole situation? Like, I don't know who. Like, Austin. Yeah. So, like, I mean, when you think about it, they're actually infiltrating Roboto headquarters, which, I mean, you gotta understand that a place like that has, like, that's like going to Microsoft or something. You gotta say, well, what the hell, kind of. Like, why don't you go? What would it be, though? I mean, all Austin Powers had to say is, "Hey, I want to design like 70s models or something." Like he just had to present a deal with Roboto, and he would have been in, and he would have said, "Well, you're gonna." Like I don't know his business, so I can't really say anything about that. But if he just made the remote control, well, you got to say, "Hey, I I want to design DVD players that are shaped like they were made in the 60s because um I think they would sell off with people that were like between the ages of 50 and 60 now. They definitely are 70 now. Michael Kane would buy one. Definitely make you some money. Beyonce would probably recommend you get one that's encrusted with um rhinestone or something. This and I know like she's rich. I mean, obviously, so she'd probably say, yeah, we a diamond encrusted DVD player. So I could just, it's kind of pointless because you only watch movies so much. But when you have people over and they're like, what the hell is that? I mean, what do you do with like, what do you do with any of those sorts of materials? So Goldmember said, yeah, I am a villain. Beyonce keeps getting kicked by Goldmember. Like, you ever thought of going in front of him, Beyonce? Like, it's the way he runs. Runs just like Doctor Evil. Is Beyonce taller than Mike Myers? Who knows? I really don't know what those cars would be used for. I mean, like, what would you think about that, really? We use those cars to transport like one suitcase at a time. Like, I mean, Hillary Duff is very specific. She has fragile items, so she specifically orders like a fleet of those little one-man cars to carry one of her suitcases from Texas to South America. And I think, and of course, it probably costs like 50 million or like $100,000 in gas just to get them because they only go 30 miles an hour and eat so much gas. But Goldmember gets in. Austin Powers doesn't. And they kind of have like a strange fight here. Look at these two, the way that they argue, like Austin and Nigel Powers. Like, the first record that was bad came out in 1974. Oh, I absolutely agree. I absolutely disagree. The first record that was bad came out in 1963. 64. No, like there was no bad music back then. Well, I was alive in the 70s. There wasn't any bad records then either. Your generation is so mismatched, Mr. Austin. Like, I don't like even your clothes, you know what I mean? Like, just um you adapted to the 70s. You're not a true swinger. Unshagadelic. Shagified. It's a black way to say it, like a black swinger. If there ever was one. Maybe Tiger Woods could be one. I really don't know why the mole had to have that role. I mean, just thinking about that, like, I mean, like the guy just for him to think, is that not like the most belittling? I mean, it's not belittling, but it's just like, I mean, I mean, seriously, most people that are laughing with the fact of, wow, that guy is just, I can't even look at that, like just. Should have made him like a double agent, like I don't know, like just an infiltrator or something like that. But the purpose of this movie is that it's funny. That's the whole thing you gotta understand about it. Like, well, hey, guess what? The mole's probably thinking like, I had to try out for this role several times. They said, well, where do you want the mole? You can have it on your lip, you can have it on your chin, you can have it on your cheek, or you can have it on your forehead. And he's like, oh, I get the choice? Well, this is, I think this is the place I'd want it if, like, I want it to be the most funny. So I bet he wears that for like Halloween or something. When he goes out to parties, he wears that and he says, "Oh, you're the mole." Yeah, I am the mole. And he probably is like an ass about it. Like a woman will say, he probably talks to women and is like, "Oh, I like I drive a stick," and then he says, "What?" And he puts his mole close to her, so like she gets kind of weirded out. Like, I drive a stick. What? I can't hear you. Maybe if I got a little bit closer. Um, I'm not that good at backing it up. Huh? Like, I just, I think, I think my hair kind of gets in my ears sometimes or something. I clean out my ears with Q-tips every day. To say it one more time, puts his mole right in her face. Especially with Beyonce, with her like, submarine mode. I think the first James Bond movie that I'm going to do will be GoldenEye. I just don't know when. That'll probably be like a November, December movie. It's really hard when you do parodies to go back to serious movies. So, he should have number two talk to them. Like, really, we don't really get the idea that he actually hates these people as much as him. He's just like, oh well. By the way, number two, yeah, we're going to drive a comet into your. We're going to specifically aim that comet for Washington D.C. just so. Forgot what I was saying. Look at Kelly Osbourne. Like, I don't even know. Like, Kelly Osbourne with her bong and everything like that. Oh, by the way, did you know what kind of bong I've got? I've got I've got a bong with a guitar on it. And fuck that. I've got a guitar. Beyonce's hair just flapped up. I've got a guitar bong. Everything. Scott kind of, I don't know, like it's just Scott kind of had like a different role. I like Scott. I don't know, like really. Who were some people that got funnier than ever in the third one? I think Doctor Evil's bits were a lot funnier in this movie. I mean, he was on fire. Austin Powers didn't slip, and Fat Bastard had like a good scenario, but I think Mini Me and Scott kind of lost. Were not as funny this time. I mean, but then again, he was funny when he was on Doctor Evil's side, but they just shouldn't have tried to make like a good guy out of him. Like we can't have. I guess it makes sense though. Because you all share the same locker room, so we don't want anyone getting sick. You don't have your own room. This is funny, like he just he just spits out the apple juice. Now really, funny thing is that there's not a ton left of things to happen. Yeah. Can't really think of anything to say about this. Basically, Austin Powers like in a sailor's outfit. I mean, how often do you go to see Austin? Oh, all the time. I've got my own personal like I don't know, like British cats going out on the ocean that much. I mean, really, there's not a ton of oceans around. I mean, where he's from, if he's from England, you gotta say, well, is that close to an ocean? Um, we go to the shack. Just what would it be? Probably has like a yacht or something. This I call it's striped. I mean, this red and white stripes. Got like a hot tub in back. It's just like, guess what, Austin? You give me Foxy Cleopatra, I'll give you number 2. But Foxy, you're gonna have to um, try on all my clothes, and I'm like 2 sizes shorter than you. I'm 2 sizes smaller than you. I wear small shirts. Like I would just say, like you're no, I would say I'll trade you Mini Me for Foxy Cleopatra, and it would be like, hey, all Mini Me, I'm keeping your clothes, Mini Me. Beyonce, let's see it. Let's see. Let's slip you into Mini Me's shirt and Mini Me's underwear. I mean, I can help you, but I'll have I can help. You know, like really. He's just like screw it. But Goldmember does not. Goldmember is not that easy, and at the movie's basically over, and he becomes. I forget who plays Goldmember. I think it's John Travolta. Yeah, he plays Goldmember, and then the movie ends, and the Austin Powers series ends. And if you're saying, well, when are you going to do Austin Powers 1? Seeing as that one is my second favorite, I'm going to save that one for like a couple months or something. It'll be before December. I'm not going to do them like once every 5 months, but it probably won't be in September. Beyonce just has that stone cold, like, throw up your G pose, Beyonce. Do like what all the rappers do in their pictures, throwing up their gang signs and whatnot. Tell where you come from. I think Beyonce comes from Houston, so. That's something that they kind of overlook. Dr. Evil is an evil genius. I mean, if you've been paying attention to Austin Powers, he actually has come up with sizable plans that could actually destroy the world if anyone actually ever did them. What happens to Frau in number 2? What? Like, yeah, it's just like, okay. So you get the idea. Also, by the way, Beyonce probably wanted to play her mom or something like, oh hey, I'll just talk to my mom. You know what I mean, Miss Shaniqua Knowles. She was a pretty groovy. She was a pretty groovy miss back in 1974, right? You know, decade before I was born. But all right, so that's it, and I am pretty much in debate as to whether or not I'm going to do Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, which was the next one that I was going to do. So yeah. Alright, so I'm just going to end it here. We'll definitely kick it off again. I might do Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, I really don't know. Alright, subscribe for more. That's pretty much the finale to the Austin Powers series. There's not anything left except for the first one, which I will do, and that will conclude the series. You know, it's been real. I mean, when you think about it, like, I had a lot of fun doing this, but it's kind of unfortunate, you know, like, really. But hey, you can watch this 100 times. You can catch more jokes. Just fuck with it as many times as you actually need to, and you've got it. But alright, subscribe for more fun, everyone. This has been Zen or Titanic.